10 Great Anime Series Ruined by Bad Animation. These shows had incredible stories, characters, and potential, but somehow their visuals left us wondering if the animators were playing a very elaborate game of how low can you go? So grab your popcorn or your stress ball and let's count down from number 10 to the infamous number 1. This is Emever's Anime. Watch this video to the end and hit that subscribe button now. Factor 10, Berserk. Kicking things off at number 10 is Berserk. Now, if you're a fan of dark fantasy and epic battles, you know that Berserk was supposed to be a visceral, soul-crushing experience. Instead, this adaptation brought us CGI that looked like it was ripped straight from a glitchy video game demo. Instead of feeling the weight of every sword swing, we were left with animations that made the medieval battles seem like awkward PowerPoint transitions. It's almost as if the animators thought, who needs fluid motion when you've got mood lighting? The tragedy here is that while the story remains as brutal as ever, the visuals often betray the intense emotion of the source material. 9. Tokyo Ghoul Route A, 2014. At number 9, we have Tokyo Ghoul Route A, 2009. Tokyo Ghoul has always been known for its dark, unsettling atmosphere, but Route A's animation style made the terror feel more like a clumsy horror parody. Imagine trying to convey the subtle nuances of a tortured soul, only to have your character's movements resemble those of a marionette on a bumpy road. The series had its heart in the right place: darker themes, edgy storytelling, and plenty of existential dread. But the animation choices left us with the nagging feeling that the real ghoul in town was the quality control department. 8. Helk. Sliding in at number 8 is Helk, Toon 23. Here's a show that promised epic fantasy battles and quirky, lovable characters, yet somehow the animation felt like it was caught in a midlife crisis. One minute, you're admiring the detailed character designs, and the next, you're watching scenes shift unpredictably as if the animators were testing out every filter on their editing app. It's a bit like being on a roller coaster that can't decide whether it's thrilling or just really, really bumpy. For those who appreciate experimental visuals, it might be a fun diversion, but for most, it's hard not to feel like you're trapped in an ever-changing digital kaleidoscope. 7. Kingdom, 2012, Season 1 and 2. At number 7, we find Kingdom, 2012, Season 1 and Season 2. This series is packed with epic historical battles and a narrative that could make any strategy game look like child's play. Unfortunately, when you're telling a story about the rise and fall of empires, you expect your animation to be as majestic as the story itself. Instead, there were moments that felt like you were watching an old-school flipbook come to life. A charming idea in theory, but a letdown when you're in the middle of a high-stakes war scene. It's as if the animators were so busy plotting the next battle that they forgot to smooth out the current one. 6. Kemono Friends, 2017. Number 6 on our list is Kemono Friends, 2017. Now, Kemono Friends is a curious case. The show's simplistic art style initially added to its quirky charm, but as the series progressed, that same simplicity started to feel like a major oversight. It's almost like the animators decided to take the less is more philosophy a little too literally. Imagine your favorite PowerPoint presentation about cute animals coming to life. The bare-bones visuals may have had their own appeal, but when you're expecting a fully fleshed out world, the end result is a bit of a head-scratcher. Were those animations a deliberate nod to avant-garde minimalism or just a result of a very rushed schedule? You decide. Top 5, One Punch Man 2015, Season 2. At number 5, we hit a sore spot for many fans. One Punch Man 2015 Season 2. Season 1 was a masterpiece, a perfect blend of blistering action and jaw-dropping visuals that left us in awe. Then came Season 2, which, well, let's just say it tried to keep up with the hype, but ended up tripping over its own cape. The animation quality took a nosedive, with rushed sequences and characters that sometimes looked like they'd stepped out of a doodle pad. It's as if the studio decided that the secret to epic battles was to spend more time on the jokes and less on the fight choreography. The result? A season that left fans scratching their heads and longing for the smooth, dynamic action of its predecessor. Inferno Cop 2012. At number 4, we have Inferno Cop 2012. If you haven't seen Inferno Cop, you might think it's a parody of bad animation, but believe me, it's the real deal. With intentionally rough, choppy visuals and over-the-top action that defies conventional logic, this series is a love letter to low-budget chaos. It's like watching an indie film where the creators threw caution and quality to the wind, embracing the absurd with every frame. The result is a bizarre, offbeat experience that's so bad it becomes its own kind of good. Imagine showing up to a fancy dinner in a clown suit, confusing, bold, and oddly entertaining. Hoff 3, The 7 Deadly Sins, 2014, Season 3. Sliding into the bronze spot at number 3 is The 7 Deadly Sins, 2014, Season 3. The series had already carved out a niche with its epic battles, larger-than-life characters, and a world brimming with magic and mystery. However, Season 3 took a detour into a realm where animation quality became as unpredictable as the sins themselves. Some episodes felt like they were animated by a committee that couldn't agree on a single style, resulting in scenes that oscillated between meh and downright questionable. The fluid, intense action of earlier seasons was replaced by something that sometimes resembled a disjointed art project. Fans couldn't help but debate whether they were watching a heroic quest or an experimental film with too many cooks in the kitchen. 2. Initial D, 1998. Runner-up at number 2 is Initial D, 1998. For any car enthusiast, Initial D is a classic, a gritty dive into the underground world of street racing and drifting that got your heart pumping faster than your favorite sports car. But let's be honest, by modern standards, the animation can feel like a relic of the past. Its charm is undeniable, yet some sequences come off as choppy and dated. Watching Initial D is like savoring a vintage wine that's been stored in a chipped bottle. Still potent and full of character, but with noticeable cracks that remind you of a bygone era. It's a reminder that even a beloved classic can suffer from the inevitable march of time and technology. 1. Uzumaki, 2024. And finally, taking the top spot at number 1 is Uzumaki, 2024. Adapted from Junji Ito's iconic horror manga, Uzumaki promised to be a masterpiece of unsettling terror. Instead, its animation sometimes left us in a state of confused disorientation. The swirling visuals, meant to evoke a sense of dread and madness, often felt like the result of an overenthusiastic blender gone wild. It's as if the animators thought, why settle for subtle horror when we can turn every scene into an abstract art experiment? The end result is a viewing experience where you're never quite sure if you should be on the edge of your seat or laughing at the sheer audacity of it all. So there you have it, 10 great anime series with stories that could have soared, but were somehow tripped up by bad animation. Did your favorite series make the list? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more anime deep dives.